today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
Hey, yo, Gates, I'm amazed at the shit you pulled off. Injecting everybody to soul snatch us all. RNA, protein spikes, this is war. Crimes against humanity, they're killing us all. It's called eugenics. Yeah, they said it and they meant it. Vincent intensive, Coke Blue's expensive. And they're like, just give me my money. Dancing at your ass on TikTok, you dummies. PCR tests, ICD-10s will change to bring the money of a COVID death.
We're taking things that are, genetically modified organisms, and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein.
And those are your kids, so what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the America First Warehouse for the Know Your Enemies podcast, number 30. We got the Red Light Robin Hood. What are we doing, Steve?
Fighting!
Every day, all day. So what's going on, everybody? I hope everybody's having a good week out there. How was your week this week?
So far, so good.
So far, so good?
Yeah, so far,
man.
So good.
Yeah, man. A lot of big stuff going on in the news.
Well, aside from the news, I want to thank God for any time I have here on this earth, and thank everybody and their moms. Today was this past Sunday was Mother's Day, and I wanted to mention the moms out there.
Yeah, I hope all the mothers out there had a great day, and went out for dinner and got your flowers and all that good stuff.
So happy Mother's Day to all the moms, and everything else is status quo, thank God, and things are working out.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I've been watching the news all week. I couldn't wait to get in here and tell everybody, right? So we have some major power shifts globally going on. And Trump just went to Saudi Arabia. And
600 billion?
Wait till we get into that. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. So basically the trade war with China, Trump ended up winning the trade war with China. And now they're going to invest a lot of money into the United States. And we're going to start trading. And they're going to be a massive purchaser of corn, of pork, and a couple other products, and soy. And they're going to be ramping up the money, and we're going to start making money and getting this national debt down.
Nice.
Down, man.
God willing.
Hell yeah. So
hopefully we can end these wars going on between Russia and Ukraine and the Gaza, Hamas, and Israel.
Yeah, well, that comes with stabilizing the world, which, we're going to be at the forefront of that with the United States, because the world looks at us as a superpower. And, what goes on in America is basically what calls the shots around the world, even with markets.
I heard Trump was able to make India and Pakistan, stop fighting. Is that true?
Yeah, that's what I heard. The tensions are,
nice.
Reducing over there, so that's a very good sign.
Blessing.
The New World Order is failing big time. So they've been working on this thing for 1,000 years, trying to enslave humanity and basically just destroy everything that God created. And we, in the past couple months or whatever, in Trump's second term, demolished everything they've been setting up, and especially within the 1900s with the Rockefeller family and all the institutions that they were setting up, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the Bilderberg Group evolved out of that later on. But all these collective think tanks with all these powerful people now are crumbling. They lost their funding. All their plans got exposed. Their vaccination passport agenda failed, flopped right on its face. They tried to roll out all these different variants and Omicron and Delta and this and that. Nothing worked. The people are pretty pissed off after seeing what these vaccines did to their family members. So I'm glad there's a mass awakening going on throughout the entire world, and the New World Order is basically crumbling before our eyes. And you know what's crazy? The average person doesn't even realize it's going on.
No, I know. It's unbelievable how many sleepers there are.
Yeah.
Sleeping through life.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It is. It's absolutely nuts. So,
but there is a big awakening, a great awakening, where society is becoming more and more aware many are just refusing to see it and have committed to being a certain or believing a certain way that government is who they should be worshiping
it's like
and not God.
Stockholm syndrome, where
Yeah,
you
they
get
stopped
comfortable
worship-
by the abuser.
They don't worship God; they worship government, and
Yeah.
it's become a hypnosis thing where they've been programmed by MSNBC and CNN and CBS and these different networks found a way to indoctrinate, program, and brainwash the people so that they don't even care about God anymore.
Yeah.
They only want to focus on.
And you know where that came from? They're not going to want to hear this. You know where it came from? The Nazis. We took all those scientists over to come work for us under Operation Paperclip. So all this stuff, the psychological warfare that's going on and all these operations being carried out by the fake news media, Operation Mockingbird and the MK Ultra assets, all of that stuff, man, it's all being exposed. So,
Good.
we just got to break the conditioning with the public.
Oh, any
which is
word?
hard.
Come back.
I said we just got to break the conditioning with the public, which is pretty hard to do.
Totally. But thank God there's chemtrails waking the people up, and now it's being talked about. Now people are like, wait a minute, they would really been doing this?
Yeah.
All
I
those
know.
people I made fun of,
I know.
all those people I said they needed tinfoil hats, they've really been doing this. Oh shit! I guess those
Exactly.
the tinfoil hat is me. The dunce cap is me.
And it turns out that aluminum foil is a very good shield against EMF radiation.
I'm not surprised.
So where'd they get the tinfoil hats from? They must have been onto something back then. They knew exactly what was going on.
Exactly. But yeah, man, people are waking up. That's what it boils down to. And we need the awakening to continue. And also, we need that war in Gaza to stop. And I think that
I think Trump woke up to Netanyahu.
I think he got what is it? There's a meeting going on between Zelensky and Putin now in Turkey or something. Or
Yeah, Zelensky's trying to sneak his way in the back door over there, but I think Trump is done. He said he told him, "I'm not supporting you anymore." Netanyahu. He said, "I'm done."
Oh, to Netanyahu.
Yeah.
Really?
He's not
What
happy
did he
with
say
him
to
right now
Zelensky?
because they keep provoking the war over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
And it's there's no stop to it. So
No.
at some point,
Trump
you
can't be signing up for
No.
what do they call it again? Genocide.
We don't support the genocide, of any people.
Right.
It's crazy. But so Trump locally, Bruce Blakeman is the county executive of Nassau, where I'm at, and he's been doing a phenomenal job. He fought the mandates, every step of the way, letting the men participate in women's sports. He banned that immediately. So basically, this guy has been on the front lines for the Patriots and pushing the agenda that, what we want, so he's actually respecting the people that put him in his office. So big shout out to him. He just got a big endorsement from Donald Trump. So,
Yeah, I heard about that. I
got
heard
a
about
shout
that Donald Trump endorsement for Bruce Blakeman.
Yeah.
So,
Show that tweet. Pull that tweet up.
congratulations to
Yeah.
Bruce Blakeman.
So shout out to Bruce Blakeman, man. You've been doing a good job. Keep it up. That whole time of Nassau County being extorted, those times are over.
What do you mean?
So Bruce Blakeman basically is, I think he's going to eliminate the red light cameras in Nassau.
Get out of here.
Yeah. That's been a
Really?
little talks I've been hearing because there's a lot of pressure on him. He's got this re-election coming up, and he needs something solid that's going to cement them in there because the pandemics are over, all right? You fought for us. We appreciate it.
Well, the fact that there was 50,000 tickets given in 2 intersections, it doesn't mathematically equate.
Yep.
So you can't be given 25,000 tickets in an intersection and having us believe that those are like what do they call them? Scofflaws?
Scofflaw fees. Yeah.
I don't know what.
Sure.
Those are not criminals. Those are not people driving recklessly. That it's electric extortion. It's engineering malpractice because they're misengineering the lights for revenue. And Bruce, I hope, knows that. We were going to just start recruiting liberals to do the protesting in Nassau because
You can't find any conservatives to protest the cameras.
so we wanted to.
They hate the tickets. They cry. Every time they get a red light camera ticket or a school bus ticket, they cry. But then when it's time to take action, they just get quiet.
And Suffolk County, they stepped up. Suffolk County got it done with the help of Legislator Trotta, and there was a couple of other ones that got rid of the red light cameras altogether. Piccarello and I think Kennedy and I don't know. There's probably a couple
Yeah.
other ones out there.
But no more extortion rackets, right, on the American people. No matter where you're from, what district, what city.
Well,
these cameras
not
that are
gonna happen. They're
extorting
gonna
people.
always. This is the problem.
gotta go.
It's that the lobbyists are there pushing and
Yeah.
money too. So it's our job to be vigilant. Until you change the laws with the money in politics, you, the public, have to be vigilant.
Yeah.
And you can't. But we will recruit liberals.
Yeah. We want accountability.
Well, I'm saying to protest.
Yeah. Oh yeah, with the liberals, yeah, absolutely.
Because
if
the
they're
liberals
willing
will
to
do
get
it.
out with the green hair and their sloppy
Exactly.
picket signs and show up in numbers, I'm sure we
Yeah.
could recruit a couple
All
of
we
those.
have to do is show them how they're all put in the lower income areas and sell them on that shit with the 3 second or 2. NASA's even shorter, like 2 second yellow lights.
Yeah.
We'll be able to get liberals pretty damn easy.
Yep. We'll tell them that's where their
Obviously, we
Social
won't be
Security
wearing this
money.
attire. We won't recruit them wearing this attire, but it'll be easy to recruit them.
Yeah. I'll put on like a Cookie Monster shirt and like a backwards Mets hat,
All we have to do is talk about how the camera company deleted. Yeah, exactly. Backwards man. How the camera company deleted the videos of the children getting killed. That's all we have to do, and that's it. Those liberals are on board.
Yep.
Camera company deletes the videos of serious accidents and deaths to hide their own culpability.
Yep. Ridiculous. When is everybody going to get tired of being pillaged and robbed every step of the way through your life?
Yeah.
You
Like
know?
our forefathers are like rolling in their graves. Like, we knew you couldn't hold on to it, but please hold on to it just a little longer. So in order to do so, we're just going to recruit the libs.
Yeah. So Trump was in Saudi Arabia, right? We saw that trip. So he went there, and for those who haven't saw the speech, you have to go watch it. All right, it is so empowering, and basically all of the royal leadership of Saudi Arabia was on their feet, clapping and applauding, and his message went across really good. I think by the time Trump is done with them, I think they're going to take away the burqas. No more burqas, no more beekeeper outfits on the women.
I don't know.
Maybe an end to Sharia law.
It's probably been going on for thousands of years.
Well, it might be coming to an end because he said, listen, man, he's like, if you want to do work with the United States, you got some drastic changes has to come.
I don't
on
think
a
so, bro.
humanitarian scale.
That would be Trump. Trump would be, if he ever made that move, he would be admitting to being something that I don't think he is.
Well, at least take the head off. You know what I mean? Take the
No, the ones
head part off.
Listen, the horny ones take it off, bro. You know that already.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the normal ninjas walking around that
Let them be ninjas.
take the head. Oh, so there was something that NYPD article that I came across. I'm going to play that in a little bit.
This
but
is
it's
going to be good.
absolutely
This is gonna be good.
hilarious. It's right on the topic with this, right? But yeah, Trump did a really good job in Saudi Arabia. So go check out his speeches. They are really good and empowering. And so the next video I have, right? All right, you know what? We're gonna go to asset number 5 first, and this is what I was talking about, right? So the 109th precinct in Queens needs everyone's help, right? We got to put this out everywhere. They need everyone's help, right? There was a burglary that took place, and they need help identifying the suspect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take their mugshot or the picture we got of this person, and I'm going to put it on screen. And if you can identify them, you're going to call 1-800-COP-SHOT and get your reward and claim your bounty. Let's pull them up on screen. So if you can identify that person right there, maybe by their nose, or maybe by the tint of mascara they use, or maybe by the ninja slippers, if it's a man, if it's a woman, if it's not, who the hell knows, right?
It's genius. 2 geniuses. That's what you're looking for.
No, it's one person, 2 angles. But that's the
All right,
suspect.
I'm definitely not one of those geniuses.
That's the suspect in question that the 109th precinct needs desperate help finding. She broke into the first floor apartment of some spot in Queens and burglarized the apartment and hopped out the window and was caught sneaking away like a ninja. So this is what's going on, folks. I mean, I don't know. I think you should. Nobody in America should be wearing that thing. You want to cover yourself? Fine. Cover your body. That's fine. You know what I mean? Christians did that back in the early 1900s when they had respect and morality with the good Lord. You know what I mean? But that's gone out the window. But if you are going to do it on religious purposes, you have to at least show your face in America so we can identify you if you want to go hopping in people's windows and taking their stuff in the middle of the night. That's how I feel about it. He don't even want to talk. Look at this guy. I got him lost. Silence. Crickets. You have cricket sound effects? Can we play?
You can't mess with tradition sometimes, bro.
I don't know, man.
That's their tradition. That's like taking away Santa Claus.
I mean,
You're gonna take away Santa Claus, bro? Yeah, you can hang out in America, but you gotta forget about Santa Claus.
didn't they try to make Santa Claus thin or something like that?
I don't know, bro.
Those days are over. Those days are over. All right, so let's get into chemtrails, right? This has been, one of those things that if you try to look it up on Grok or ChatGPT, you don't get real information, right? They'll be like, oh, yeah, it's a conspiracy theory, this and that. Meanwhile, we've had the patents on the show before. We showed them. We showed everything that you need to see. But now I have a new piece to the puzzle, which is a guy that I came across that is actually selling his chemtrail plane that was retrofitted by the military and the U.S. government, and he basically gives it a nice breakdown of what it is, what it's doing, but he doesn't need it anymore because they're not spraying anymore. So these programs are being closed down. I don't know at what pace they are, but they are being closed down because this guy's he's selling his plane. I mean, if you're getting... All right, you know what? Let's get into the video, and it's number 4.
I want to expose some chemtrail truth here. As most of you know, we're selling the plane, so we're not getting paid out anymore. This plane has been certified to use the chemtrail fluid DK5812. And so it holds 50 gallons in each tank here, and then the fuel goes in this one. And then right in the exhaust, just right up here, there's a injector that sprays the fluid when you turn on the switch. And the switch, it won't spray fluid unless the engine's running because it's like real toxic chemicals. So it needs to make sure like you're in the air. We get paid about $10 a gallon to spray the stuff. And this has a government issued retrofit kit. And you can see down here, they installed this switch. As you can see, it says chemtrails. You just turn it on, and then you just collect money. That's how it works.
Yeah, so these people are getting paid $10 to poison the population of the country.
$10 a gallon.
Yeah, $10 a gallon. Yeah. That is insane. And he said it himself. This stuff is poison. I can't even turn the switch on when we're landed because we can't breathe it in.
Yeah.
So what the hell, man? So we can't get this out quick enough. So the EPA, Lee Zeldin, figure out what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
And start charging these people with crimes against humanity and find the source of these programs, because I know the military has something to do with it, right, with the dark programs, but at the end of the day, you have private civilians carrying out these
they're
missions.
subcontractors.
Yeah. So something's got to be done about that. Someone has to be held accountable. Like $10 a gallon to dump poison on everybody, and they're there.
Yeah, how come we never see arrests?
Yeah.
Are we waiting for Epstein information still?
Yeah, there's still some stuff coming out, man. James
have more
O'Keefe.
faith, huh?
James O'Keefe.
What about him?
He happened to get his hands on some videotape that has to do with Epstein, and we got some shots from inside the Epstein
I
Island.
thought he went dark since last week.
No, he did. Yeah. Yeah.
So nothing new since
So
last
the whole thing with him going dark was he ended up getting Pam Bondi in a conversation talking about, how this child sex trafficking and all the stuff related to the cases. And, when he thought he was going to release it, this is stuff that, deep investigators, we already kind of knew this stuff, like what he was involved with and who the parties were. So I guess, James O'Keefe launched it thinking that it was going to be like a bigger story than it was, not realizing that some of this information was already out. He got like a good video of her talking about it. You know what I mean? Well, we knew Epstein was trafficking kids. We knew that the people going there were pedophiles, and whatever. So that came out with that. And now in a recent development, an insider gave him videotapes of inside Jeffrey Epstein's house. And inside the house, in the kitchen, he's got some creepy photo over there, man. Do I have that? Did I put that up? Let's see. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's roll that clip real quick.
The island, known as Little St. James, is located in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Drones have flown overhead in the past, independent journalists have snuck ashore, but no footage or images from inside these buildings has ever been published until now. This footage was captured about a year after Epstein's arrest. In this world-exclusive, O'Keefe Media Group takes you through the kitchen inside the main mansion, a villa used for hosting high-profile visitors and events. Through our reporting, we can confirm this footage is authentic. You'll see the entire kitchen is a sterile white with stainless steel appliances. There are sparse decorations, including a few pieces of coral, but there does appear one prominent artwork, a large framed photo of a nude baby in a sink. The baby is holding a phallic-shaped object. The image is hung above the kitchen table. It begs the question, why did Jeffrey Epstein choose to place this image inside of a kitchen where visitors would eat?
Yo, what the hell is that? Right? Whose kid is that, first of all? And second of all, what type of sick freak puts a naked baby in the kitchen eating area? Yo, this is the stuff that, people don't believe that it goes on, but it does, and we're not just up here making stuff up. Like, we have credible evidence to back everything up that we talk about here, and there's no way getting around it. So this is why we have this podcast, Know Your Enemies, for sick freak weirdos like Jeffrey Epstein, all the people he associates with, their artists, their music entertainers, Miriam Abramovic, all of them. They're all disgusting pedophiles, and they need to be cleansed from the earth. Enough is enough. I'm done.
I don't blame you.
Done with
disgusting.
These damn people.
I don't know why you put the baby in the kitchen, other than maybe they were like doing something with babies in the kitchen.
Yeah, right. Set the mood or something.
I don't know.
Yeah. So,
not good.
All right, so let me give you a breakdown of what's going on with the Epstein. A lot of people are talking about Pam Bondi. They're real upset, and they think she's, dragging this thing down the road, and they want her to resign. All right, so a couple episodes ago, I told you when the tractor-trailer of evidence came in to the headquarters of the FBI, right? It came up from Florida. They had a lot of stuff down there, and it was a big tractor-trailer worth of stuff. You have terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of videos, of information, of letters, of statements, all types of stuff. Now, instead of the main field office of the FBI in Washington, D.C., having to sort through all of these terabytes and all of this stuff and these files and these hard drives, what they did was they basically set it so whatever district these crimes were committed in, whatever state, they sent the evidence to the jurisdictions of origin, and what they're doing is they're having teams assembled per state to go through the evidence, because we'd never be able to get it done going through the headquarters and having one team work on this whole thing. So they distributed all the evidence to all the different states, and now they have teams that are going through the stuff. Now understand this. They cannot release, I would say, about 89 to 90% of all the stuff that's in there, all right? We're talking about disgusting pedophilia, child sex, and things that you wouldn't wish to see in your entire life. It'll stain your soul forever, all right? This is the type of disgusting things that these people are going to have to sit through. Like these agents that have to go through this material and collect it and put it together, they have to sit there and watch all of this, right? What they were doing, what they gave them, what they looked like, who the person was involved, what they did to the child. Like this is going to scar a lot of people throughout this country, and it's not an easy subject to cover, but it has to be addressed. The dark has to come to light, and the general public needs to know that this has been going on in the shadows right under our noses this entire time, and we've just been dazzled into into a distracted state where we don't really see anything besides work, a TV show, play with the family, go on vacation, rinse and repeat. But now's the time, man. We actually have a chance to change the trajectory of our country, and there's no better chance to do it than now.
No doubt.
With that said, yeah.
Yeah, man.
But, yeah, man. So there's a lot of other things we could be focused on. Like everybody on a local level needs to get active. You need to call your legislators, your politicians, and hold them accountable. Ask them tough questions. Show up where they show up, and hold their feet to the fire. Because if we don't, then, we're just going to, in another
Recruit
4
liberals.
years.
to do it.
Yeah, we don't want to backslide on the progress we made like we did with Joe Biden getting in. We want to keep this, what we got now, and blast this thing into space so the new golden era will, be shaped.
Yeah, man.
Hell
Absolutely. Yeah. We have to ask for the money back. They owe us money. They don't want to settle the lawsuits. Hopefully they settle them in Nassau and Suffolk. But they stole a lot of money. It was illegal for them to charge any more than $50. I believe Nassau's still doing it. So the sooner Bruce Blakeman would get on canceling that contract, the better. And I'm pretty sure there's a 30-day clause where if they give the camera company written notice 30 days in advance, they can cancel it. So
yeah,
that's what they need to do and settle the 2 class action lawsuits.
Yeah.
And then we can move forward and get rid of the stain on Suffolk and Nassau.
Hell yeah.
What a terrible thing.
So
I was thinking about school buses. They get people into accidents as well because when somebody's going past the school bus,
as soon as that thing starts to open up,
people jam on their brakes, and it causes terrible accidents.
I've seen people do it with the yellow lights too, not even the red lights. As soon as they put the warning lights to go, what the hell are you locking up your brakes for? These people are crazy.
Yeah, they are crazy, but it's $250. That's why they lock up their brakes.
Yeah. So if you don't know, I also run UCNYnews.com. I keep a lot of documents and investigations that I do up on that webpage. I control it. Nobody can delete it, censor it. So it's there. So I'm going to put up a quick walkthrough of the website of how it looks on your phone, so it's nice and easy, so there's no damn excuses why you can't get this information and get it out. We were just on the topic of Jeffrey Epstein, and I'm in possession of his little black book that has all the names and numbers and addresses. It's like 98 pages worth of stuff. So let's run that real quick, and I'll walk you through it. So this is the homepage of the website. I cover all different topics. I have everything categorized to where you can just click the tab and everything is there that you need to read. All right? This is the Hunter Biden tab with Jeffrey Epstein. You got Hunter laying with his 14-year-old niece. There he is with an underage girl. You got Maxwell at the Chelsea Clinton wedding. There's Jeffrey and Maxwell at the Queen's cabin. You click on the Epstein Black Book. It loads up. Bow, PDF. All right? It's got 98 pages. So all the names are there, everything. So you'll be completely blown away by you see with all the stuff that I have on the website. It's crazy. I cover childhood vaccinations. I cover the coronavirus scams, declassified military documents. You name it, it's up there. And we're here fighting on the front lines for you, your family, your children, our families. And we're not going to stop until our last breath. And that's what it is, man. So I think we're going to jump into a commercial break, and we're going to come back with a special guest. We got Allison Reedy that's going to be joining us, not in studio, but on Zoom. And she's going to be telling a story about her 14-year-old son and a horrible experience that he had to go through. And it's just mind-blowing. So let's cut out the commercial.
Stay tuned. Yeah, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
And we'll be right back.
Welcome, everybody, to the not-so-newlywed show, where 3 couples are going to compete for really great prizes. Okay, Donna, we asked Mike, who complained first on your honeymoon, you or him?
What do I think?
Yeah, what do you think?
I think he said...
Lisa, this ain't the SATs. Just tell us what... Donna, who complained first on the honeymoon?
I'm sure it was me, but I have no idea.
Donna is right.
No, it's always me.
What celebrity would you pick for a one-day pass?
For me?
Yeah, for you, not for him.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon! Wow! Who do you hate the most on her side? That rotten no...
There are so many choices.
Thank you all, and thank you for coming out.
I'm Mike Simonelli, retired Army officer, retired police officer, proud father of a United States Marine. I fought overseas in Iraq and Afghanistan to protect our country. I served in the streets of Suffolk to protect our residents. And now I'm running with Karen Ricciardi and Al Carfora to protect our children from anything that doesn't have to do with academic excellence, to protect our teachers and staff from hazardous work environments, and to protect our taxpayers from fraud, waste, and abuse. Vote for us on May 20th, the Smithtown School Board, Smithtown's conservative choice.
It's me, Joe the Box, America First, warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land. Hey, you know this guy over here, Rudy Giuliani? He always tells the truth. You know what he told me? Let's support Pete Hegseth. President Trump supports Pete Hegseth. This man will be honest and hardworking for our great country. I support him. I also stand with Rudy. Peace!
I told you this was crazy. I'm out of here.
No dice. Free stuff for all.
I could be such a downer.
For you, bow to the master staff. Come to me. Oh my God, this guy's from Jersey.
Hi. How you doing? Fuck off my stage.
I'm pretty sure I'm a woman.
No, you're not, Steve. Oh! Oh!
Wet on my side. Now instead of a poke, you're getting a smack.
What have I done?
Yeah, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the America First Warehouse. I'm James Justice. We got Steve and Ruth, the Red Light Robin Hood here. And we got a special guest, Allison Reedy. We're going to bring her on. What's going on? There you are. How are you?
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. So,
Our pleasure.
So yeah, let's get into your story, man. You got a hell of a story. Let's tell the audience.
Yeah, so basically in 2021, if you think of the political hostile nature that we were in, my son was in math class. He was only 14 years old, and him and another kid were having just a regular conversation. And the other kid said to my son, joking around, "Don't be like the Oxford school shooter." My son said, "I'm not going to be like, shut up, or I'm going to shoot a school up." Like, he basically hypothetically said what he wouldn't do. And the teacher had overheard him from 15 feet away, took him out in the hallway, asked him what he said. And she said context did not matter, that she was going to have to report this to the administrative staff.
Oh my
So
God.
the administrative staff, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so the administrative staff, they already were having issues with me. We had only been in Huron Township, New Boston, Michigan for 2 months. And I had already been complaining about the mask mandate. It was a 0.5 micron. It was getting through any cute little mask you could put on your face. I had also had issues with a poster in the science class where they were showing there were more than 2 genders. So they knew exactly who I was when they had my son in this situation, and they basically railroaded my child. They called me. I was at work. They said, "You need to come and get your child. He's in big trouble." I raced down to the school only to be waiting in the lobby for an hour and a half while they manipulated this situation. I finally get back in the room. My son's not in the room. And it was the principal, the liaison officer, and the vice principal. And they told me that my son had just threatened to shoot up a school during a verbal altercation with another student. No. I said, my son is a straight A student. He's never been in trouble in his life. And the principal directly said, Ethan Crumbly was a straight A student also. And if you don't know who that was the Oxford school shooter. She had just compared my son to the Oxford school shooter.
That's horrible. Absolutely horrible.
They brought go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's horrible, man. I can't believe that, are you in a liberal area?
Well, I don't know if it matters. I think it's just a hunger for attention, and they want to get the news media involved and act like they thwarted something, and they made some... They stopped a big event. Meanwhile, it was all just 2 kids.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, I hear you have some litigation
So my
going.
son, they finally brought him into the room, and I just started yelling at my child. How could you say that? Do you know what happened at Oxford? He just looked like he had seen a ghost when he walked into the room. He was already very scared looking. And they basically, he was arrested from the school for domestic terrorism. As soon as they went to handcuff him, I lunged at his legs. We weren't taking my child anywhere. It took about 4 officers to get me off of my child. The detective then looked at me and said, "This will be the best thing that ever happens to your son." I was arrested at 17 and it changed my life.
Wow.
That's
crazy.
moving forward, we paid $5,000 for a lawyer, and the charge was dropped from domestic terrorism to intentional threat. And in the course of a year, the state prosecutor kept offering us plea deals. One was disorderly conduct. I said my son was not drunk in the street naked. We're not going to take that. A couple weeks before trial, they came back with another plea deal. They said, if your son writes a letter that says he's sorry, that we will dismiss the case. And I went to my son and I said, this is what they want you to do. And my son said they should be writing me a letter. So we fought and we took it to trial and we won. He was found not guilty. The judge was absolutely appalled at what they put our child through. He looked at the other kid, Thomas, in court, and he said, "Wait a second, you guys weren't even fighting?" And he said, "No, we were joking around." And he said that he would not shoot a school up. So they made my child's life an absolute living hell. Our family ended up moving from Huron. We had just moved there. We were not even done unpacking. You can imagine the media, the local news. They basically took my name and smeared it through the mud. And I'm a realtor, so it did affect my business for a little while there. So yeah, it has been an absolute nightmare. When he was found not guilty, I hired another lawyer. Unfortunately, he was incompetent and he did not do what he was telling me that he was doing. And our civil case ended up getting terminated. So I hired another lawyer. Now I'm about $26,000 in defending my son and his rights. And we are now in the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals. And we're hoping that they're going to turn the case over. Unlike the other lawyer, we now have our court transcripts in the file. The Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals, they do not need to look at that. It is totally up to their discretion. This is a minor. You would think that they would.
Yeah.
So we're just praying and hoping that they're going to do the right thing.
Yeah, I could see them, siding with you in this case because there's no reason that your son, especially at that age, should have had to go through that whole ordeal. And then the smear campaign that the media puts out, that's enough to damage somebody for life if they let it, And it sounds like your son's a very strong person. He said he wanted to fight from day one, and that's what you guys have been doing. And I commend you for that because nobody should have to go through that type of experience, especially as an adolescent,
That's
terrible.
terrible.
He is very strong. Unfortunately, the rumors, they still haunt him. He's not able to really make any friends. It definitely affected his mental state. He's never been the same. He just sort of went into a state of reclusion and isolation, which we try our hardest to keep him engaged in family functions, keep him busy. He's a senior now. This happened when he was a freshman. So they basically robbed him of his whole high school experience.
Yeah.
He didn't go to prom. Who wants to go to prom when you don't have any friends? So really, he's never, when this all happened, you had every local news channel in the area, smear my name. But when he was found not guilty, not a single reporter came to us wanting to help publicly vindicate my son.
Yeah, all those outlets should be issuing retractions for those stories because the case was dismissed.
They don't do that unless you're James O'Keefe.
But
So I actually, after our case was terminated, one night I stumbled upon a Facebook page called Free Speech, and it said Allison Reedy's son threatened to shoot up the school. She tried to sue, and her case was terminated. I then got a hold of them and I said, I'm going to sue you if you do not take this down. And I started sending them pictures of our court transcript. And he said he's going to do some investigation and he'll get back to me. And he finally got back to me and he said, I am sorry that this happened to your family. I have edited the article and I've taken, I believe he said, I've taken your name out of it.
Wow. Yeah. I mean,
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I pretty much have PSPD with anything that has to do with this. I can't even watch the news. As soon as I hear the music come on with the news, I beg my husband to change it.
How old's your son now?
He is going to be 18 in September. So this happened to him when he was 14 years old.
Yeah, so it'll be in the rear view soon enough. He'll have himself a whole new life.
Yeah, I think once you guys
What's his birth month?
September.
Oh, he's a Virgo, right?
September 7th.
Yeah, so he's a Virgo. Yeah, he'll do fine. The Virgos are usually very smart.
Yeah, he's very resilient. And if the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals does not turn over the case, he will be able to adjudicate the case himself when he's 18.
Yeah.
So it's not over. It's long from over.
Wow.
Hopefully he's learned from me that you don't throw in the towel. This battle is not just for my son. This battle is for any kid that could go through something like this, be wrongfully accused and be railroaded by the judicial system. And I do believe that our political affiliation had a lot to do with that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like with all these situations, and I know your son, it kind of put him in a position where he might not feel he could reach out to people. But I think once you guys get this thing settled in court and you guys can bring a massive lawsuit for the defamation and all the pain and suffering and everything, you should be getting a couple $1 million. And I think that your son, once he sees that he was definitely in the right and everything is expunged with the court system and the public gets to see that, the news will have to report on
They'll
the
have
lawsuit.
to report on it.
Right? And then it's going to clear his name. And I think he's going to have the like a very powerful position because of having to go through this at such a young age. And he'll rise up as one of the leaders of the community.
He's going to be a champion in the end. But it's just difficult on him now at this age.
The optimism.
Pardon me?
We're trying. We're doing everything that we can.
Yeah.
In the end, it might be dragged out for a long, long time. My cases were long, long time. But, just have faith in God, say your prayers, and he'll be triumphant in the end. It might be a while, but he'll probably end up with a significant amount of money, enough to buy his first house or something.
Yeah. And as far as help for legal fees and like, do you have a GoFundMe set up? Do you have anywhere people can go to help you out?
Yes, I mean, at this point, thank God I am a realtor and I was able to get the $26,000 in the course of 4 years. I do have a GoFundMe set up for him and it's for college. If anybody wants to donate, he wants to go to a college in Utah called Newmont. And that's his dream. So I went ahead and I set that up for him.
All right. Very good.
Nice, nice. I'm a realtor as well.
Very cool. It's a good market.
Yeah, I don't really work buyers anymore, but I'm always involved in, different flips and new builds and evictions and all kinds of contracts. And, it's been good to me for many, many years.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So I remember the first time I built a house, I sold a piece of property and the builder said, I can't get a building permit on this, so I don't want it. So I went and looked into it and found that I could get a building permit on it. I ended up buying it, and that's how I built the first house I ever built. And I've built many since, and real estate's been very good to me over the years.
Yeah, that's awesome. One thing I wanted to mention, because I think it holds a lot of weight in this case, and I know I've talked to James about it, during this investigation, and I had my son's backpack and I was going through it, I found an assignment in his backpack where the teacher was teaching that Christians worship Allah. And when I later asked my son about that assignment, he told me the teacher played a song and he was having the kids fill in the blanks. So I also believe turning in that assignment during this investigation was motive and retaliation for them to do what they did.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. I mean, what else could it be? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I know. And the fact that my original lawyer did not put that assignment into our civil case, he's just completely incompetent.
Yeah, I hate bum lawyers that don't want to do their job and don't have the initiative to want to fight. Like, why not? It's your reputation on the line. It's your name. Like, how do you not want to have your name held to a high standard? But they're out there. They exist. They just slug along and say they're good, but do nothing.
Well, little did I know he was fighting his own legal battle. I didn't know anything about. I don't even think he's the one who was turning in the motions for us. I think it was done by his secretary, who maybe didn't even graduate high school. I don't know.
Yeah, for all we know, they could have been
Right.
hanging
What
out
was
with
he on?
Biden.
He was out on bail himself. Your lawyer?
My lawyer had gotten in trouble in Florida for assaulting a fireman, and I didn't know anything about it. So he had been in and out of jail. And actually, when my case was terminated, I found out by Googling it.
Oh,
wow.
My God. What a sleazebag.
Yeah, you can't make this shit
I
up.
can definitely say that God has showed up and he has showed out in this situation. He has spoken to me. He has guided me. When they messed with my family, this is going to be a testimony, and it's going to be like thunder, and it's going to be shown like lightning. And you don't mess with a child of God.
Exactly. You're better off tying a millstone around your neck.
I'm
Harming
telling
a child.
you.
Yeah.
I'm going to praise my way through this battle. I'm going to pray my way through this battle, and they're going to wish that they never did what they did to our family.
Where did this happen?
This happened in Huron High School in New Boston, Michigan.
Gotcha.
They have zero transparency with parents. The more my podcasts get out, I have people contact me who their kids go to that school. And I have a group on Facebook. It's called My Son on the Altar. You ask to join it, and that's where all the evidence is in my case. Everything I'm saying, the evidence is in there. It's in our court transcripts. And as soon as they get into that group, they message me and they can't believe this happened to our family. And they're actually pretty pissed off that they know nothing about it. The liaison officer lost his job. The teacher is no longer there. The vice principal is no longer in the high school. He's in the elementary school. So there were a lot of different changes that took place with zero transparency. My son was expelled in a bias hearing. We were told the day before the expulsion hearing that my son was going to get expelled. There was nothing that we could do. I actually risked my freedom getting Thomas, the witness, there, only to not have him called on. So, I mean, they definitely didn't want the truth to get out there, but they messed with the wrong one. I've had a big mouth ever since I was a little girl.
Well, I think it was more like one of the high-ranking police officers wanted to make the news.
Oh, absolutely they did.
And that's, I think, that's my interpretation.
That was kind of like the Van Miller case that we covered with the third Trump assassin, where the sheriff tried to pin all the stuff on the guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he might have been up for election or anything like that, and any opportunity to get in front of the camera, even if it was at your son's expense, you may be able to prove that if you look up the elections and the election
So I
cycles.
actually already have proof of that. The detective in shortly after this happened, he was demoted from a field detective to an administrative detective. So I think that shows a little liability right there.
No, I mean that might, but I'm talking about brass looking for news exposure before an election. Like if whoever was being the spokesperson for your jurisdiction's police department, whoever was doing those press conferences, if he was up for election, he might have just been calling press conferences just because he wanted news exposure.
Yeah, they're dirty. They'll do that.
So I know that there is a paper in that area called the Huron Hub, and I know that Detective Gerard was pretty good buddies with this guy, Scott Bolthouse. And Scott Bolthouse, he actually hung up his paper shortly after Dylan was found not guilty. And he actually had a article out all over Facebook, all over social media. It said 14-year-old threatens to shoot up the school during a verbal altercation with another student. He didn't put allegedly. This caused a lot of social media harassment for my family. I was receiving really nasty messages. I even received a message with a picture of our family that had really nasty writing all over it. Just basically calling us all the parents of a future active shooter. It was humiliating. I wanted to crawl under a rock and never come out.
Yeah.
You know what? When I had like news media going after me, I tried to control the narrative by taking it on head on and dressing as to my best suits and ties and shiny shoes, and I would get out in front of it, and I would try and control the narrative, and also control the narrative by making my own press releases and press conferences. Even though I might only have one person recording for me, I would throw it on social media, and I kept doing that over and over and over and over and over, and finally I won. And then the public said, "Holy shit!" The whole time he was right. But it took real persistency, and I had the help of my son doing a lot of my recording and his tripod for a phone. But anytime the police commissioner, who at the time his name was Tim, anytime Tim would do a press conference, I would back it up with my own press conference in the same location. I would go to police headquarters and do it, and I'd make my son record, and it worked. And Tim Sini, eventually, he lost his next election. We have a much more conservative district attorney now, and police commissioner as well, I believe. But I think that's the way to do it, is get out in front of it. Don't.
Yeah, and that's what I've been doing. So this happened in 2021, and this year I have been on a healing journey, and the more that I get to talk about it, the more that I feel the burden lifted off of me. So I definitely have been doing that for, I think, about the past 6 or 7 months. My story is going to get out there. The truth is going to get out there. They're not going to silence me.
And you know what I noticed also is that lawyers tell you not to do that. Lawyers will tell you, say no comment, don't say anything, and they expect you to listen to them like they're superior to us. I tell you the truth. My lawyer used to be the same way, and I didn't listen to him. And afterward, he'd be like, "That was fucking awesome."
Yeah. So I mean, the only time my lawyer, I had one podcaster who wanted to talk to my lawyer. Besides that, if they don't ask, I just go forward with it.
Yeah.
This is America. We have something called free speech. And you know what? If people do not stand and fight for the United States Constitution, the United States Constitution cannot protect us. This has not been an easy battle.
Yep.
But this is a battle that needs to be had.
Exactly. And we're at the forefront of that battle, and with a smile and grace.
That's right. They messed with the wrong mama bear, I'll tell you that. My
Absolutely.
kids are my life.
Yeah, that's it, man. All the parents, we got to be courageous and brave in these crazy times.
And we have to have faith in God.
Faith in God,
Amen.
that's the most important.
Amen.
Definitely.
God spoke to me at the beginning of this battle, and that tangible moment has carried me through. And I was very upset, and I was crying when I left the school, and I was basically yelling and cussing at God. How could you let this happen to our family? You're a good family, go to church twice a week, we pray at the dinner table. And God said, had I asked you to sacrifice your son, for the greater good would you had? And my flesh immediately said no, but my spirit said, Lord, be it unto me. What are we doing? And I don't know what that greater good is, but I have to believe that those kids in that classroom, they didn't have to learn that Christians worshiped Allah another day. And that is a greater good for me.
Yep. Amen to that, man. That's good.
And I can also tell you that in Wayne County, Michigan, we have a terrible state prosecutor. And there was about 30 cases within a month of these so-called threats. And when Dylan was found not guilty, there was about 15 of them that were dismissed.
Wow.
So I have to believe that is also part of a greater good. There were policies that were changed. There were procedures that were changed. There was a whole new juvenile justice reform that took place. I have to believe that that is the greater good.
Absolutely. It
It might not be
probably
happening
prevented
my
something
way,
else.
but it's going to happen Yahweh's.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably prevented something worse. You know, at least your son now is going to be tougher, and like when a girl cheats on him, he'll be like, "Your loss," and he's not going to let it send him into a depression. You know, like these kids get all hung up. You know, and I
He's
think
going to
that
be
this
very
is
strong right now. He's just fighting, trying to get through high school. He's got 4 more days. I just let him have a mental health day today. You know, it's not easy not having any friends when everybody else is sort of celebrating and cheering. Graduation's coming, so
Well, you let
I
him know.
understand and respect that.
graduation's coming.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Well, you let him know he has an army of patriots here in New York, Long Island, and all over the country that have his back and love him, and that when
I sure will.
when he's ready to step up, he's got a lot of people that are family. So,
We appreciate that.
How do you like it in Michigan? Do you like
that
living in
again?
Michigan? Do you like living in Michigan?
Michigan is beautiful. We could use a better governor. We could use, it did just recently flip red, but it's been very liberal for a while. I think people are starting to finally wake up and see. You are going to have those who are still going to be in the dark. They're going to ignore the gas prices that just went down.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think Michigan is fighting back.
Good.
Excellent.
We got about another 2 minutes left on the segment, and then we're gonna close out. You got anybody you want to shout out, say hello to, let them know you're famous?
Yeah, so God is amazing. At the very beginning of this battle, He connected me, divine intervention, with Dr. Linda Lee Tarver. She is actually the former civil rights commissioner of Michigan. She really helped guide our family through this battle. If it wasn't for her, I'm not sure where we would be. Also, during the waiting room in our criminal trial, the Lord spoke to my heart and He told me that we should go trial by judge. That changed the complete directory of this case because there was no longer the influence of the jury and the media. This was a judge who had been a judge for a long time, and he was going to take the law and the facts, and he was going to determine this case, and that's exactly what he did. So, if you're going through a battle and you feel like you're drowning, just invite God into that battle. He will keep your head above the water.
That's true. Well, we're going to stay in contact with you. You can give us updates with the appeals courts and let us know how everything's making out. And we appreciate you for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. I hope you had a happy Mother's Day.
We filed our brief today, so we're excited to see what's going to happen.
I hope you had a happy Mother's Day.
Yeah,
I had a wonderful Mother's Day. I'm very blessed. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. So yeah, we'll be in touch, and we'll get your story out, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, tell your son to Google us. This guy's James Justice. I'm the Red Light Robin Hood. I destroyed the red light cameras and battled the program for a long, long time here, and finally we won, and now we have no more red light cameras.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I do. I send him my podcast, so he'll definitely look into you, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Well, God bless you, your family.
Yes,
and,
God bless you.
We'll
and
be
your
in
family.
touch.
All glory be to God.
All glory be to God.
All glory to God.
Amen.
All right. So with that, I think we're going to wrap it up. Episode 30 is coming to a close, and we're going to see you next week for episode 31. It's probably going to be even more crazy.
Have a great weekend, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Yep. Make sure you share, like, subscribe to this video, and get it out to everybody you know, and tell them to tag a friend and share it out, because
yeah, man, please.
This is the time. So we love you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.